President Trump's $2,000 worth of stimulus checks during this government shutdown.
We passed a bill. We don't need to pass any more bills. We got everything in that bill. There's nothing else we have to put.
Americans are waiting for this stimulus check. Look at this. $2,000 worth of stimulus checks on the way. Here's what you need to know amid the government shutdown. There's a government shutdown in place right now, and millions of Americans are looking towards President Trump and this administration for some sort of relief. And it seems like President Trump is keen on doing something great for millions of Americans. Look at this. Trump says tariff checks are probably coming to millions of Americans, and soon. This is not less than a breaking news for all Americans who are struggling right now, not just because of this government shutdown, but because of this inflation. And according to a number of analysts and experts, the reason is simple: tariffs. Well, it doesn't stop here. Remember that while millions of Americans are waiting for these stimulus checks, Donald Trump has once again floated the idea of a tariff dividend check for Americans, and he kept talking about it, but it seems like something is about to happen. I'm gonna give you each and every detail, but all I need is just a little favor. It takes 2 seconds to please hit that like button on this video. So without any further ado, let's begin. $2,000 worth of stimulus checks straight to your mailbox. This is what millions of Americans are waiting for. Look at this. $2,000 worth of stimulus checks on the way. This is huge for those Americans who are struggling right now. Just for the transparency, I'm going to link all of these articles in the video's description. You can go there, click on it, and read it yourself, because we want to be as transparent, as honest as possible on this platform. Well, what did Donald Trump say about the possibility of people getting stimulus checks? In an interview with One American News on October the 2nd, Trump said the government may give out about $1,000 to $2,000 per person. Just imagine receiving a check of $2,000 straight to your mailbox. It will change a number of things for millions of Americans who are struggling right now in this worst inflation. But before I move forward, I would like to ask you this very important question. Do you support these $2,000 worth of stimulus checks for all Americans who make $100,000 and less? If you do, then write in the comment section, I support $2,000 checks. Again, if you support him, then write in the comment section, I support $2,000 checks, because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Moving on with the details. President Trump said, we'll pay back debt, but we also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America, he said in an interview, and this is his own statement. Well, look at this. Trump also said earlier this year that the revenue generated from new tariffs can help provide rebate checks to taxpayers in specific income brackets. By the way, it also goes to seniors and disability benefit recipients, as well as to low and middle income Americans. However, Americans are still waiting for that idea to become a reality, but now things have changed. Look at this. As President Trump says tariff checks are probably coming to millions of Americans and soon. While he was talking to Fox News, he recently said that he's thinking about allocating around $200 billion, and he wants to use this money to give stimulus checks or dividend checks or tariff rebate checks to millions of struggling Americans, because according to him, the last administration left a mess for them, and now it's President Trump's job to give some sort of relief to millions of Americans. Donald Trump has once again floated the idea of a tariff dividend check for Americans. The federal government will probably provide some tariff revenue over the next fairly short period of time to Americans, the president told reporters on Tuesday. Yes, this is huge because Americans need some sort of relief and they need it as soon as possible. While talking about relief, do you know that you can save around $1,100 when it comes to your Medicare plan? That's why I partnered with Chapter, where you can save around $1,100 and get unbiased help from a real person, and it's absolutely free. All you need to do is to call the number on the screen, 212-461-4492. Again, the number is 212-461-4492, and get the help that you deserve absolutely free. Moving on with the details, the president went on to say that the tariffs on imports from other nations have already ranked in well over $1 trillion this year. Well, if you remember, during the pandemic, the total stimulus package was $1.2 trillion, and it included the SBA loans, the PPP loans, and other incentives as well, including the unemployment money as well as the stimulus checks. Now, if President Trump goes on with the same stimulus plan, but this time around $200 billion that will only focus on these stimulus checks alone, it will change a number of things for millions of Americans. Well, with $650 billion from the European Union, $550 billion from Japan, and $350 billion from South Korea. Remember that President Trump placed these reciprocal tariffs on almost every country in the world. And according to a number of analysts and experts, the reason that President Trump is talking about these stimulus checks again, because he knows that tariffs will bring inflation, and before the inflation kicks in, he wants to give some sort of relief to millions of Americans. But as per President Trump's statement, he just simply wants to give a portion of this tariff money to struggling Americans. However, news reports call the president's math into question, including a story from Fox News that indicates tariffs have only generated over $200 billion. Well, $200 billion is still a lot of money. Why? Because we are talking about few months of tariffs placed on almost every nation in the world. Just think about 2 years or 3 years from now. Yes, it will certainly increase the prices of basic necessities because importers will pay those tariffs, and when those importers pay those tariffs, they take the money from American consumers, and this is the biggest question, because at the end of the day, it's you and me who's going to pay these tariffs back. Though he didn't provide any further details about the timeline for these payments, President Trump has previously said that he might send checks to Americans between $1,000 to $2,000. Well, remember that if you are struggling right now and waiting for a stimulus check straight to your mailbox, you still need to wait a bit. Will it happen? This is not the first time the idea of cutting checks from tariff revenue has surfaced. Back in July, Senator Josh Hawley introduced a bill to send $600 tariff rebate checks to hardworking Americans, arguing that they should share in the wealth that Trump's tariffs are returning to this country. But even at that smaller $600 level, critics question the wisdom, and you need to understand that even Bernie Moreno, a Republican, means a fellow Republican of Josh Hawley, said that he will never let this bill pass because we have $37 trillion worth of debt and we are going to pay it first. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this whole situation? Because according to a number of analysts, experts, and the lawmakers as well, US has billions and billions of dollars to give to other nations so they can survive and thrive. Our own Americans and most vulnerable people on American soil are struggling right now. What do you think about this whole situation? Please share your views in the comment section. Well, one thing that I would like to tell you before I wrap up this video, that if you would like to save around $1,100 when it comes to your Medicare plan, this is the time to act. The enrollments have already started and Chapter will give you unbiased help from a real person absolutely free. Call the number on the screen today, 212-461-4492, and get the help that you deserve absolutely free. If you have any questions at all, then please let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer each and every question of yours, as Credit Viral channel will always be with you in your good and difficult times. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.